In this video, you're going to hear from an arrogant, cocky motherfucker. I'm not going to filter myself to protect your feelings. Chances are, if you're in my age group, if you're part of my generation of men, you are weak. The men around you, the young men around you are also weak. I look around and I see such a lack of masculine virtues in the men. We failed like one great big shit test. From the start of birth, especially in Western cultures, you've been tested. Your masculinity has been tested by the education system and the social media and all of the conditioning of your society. It's been one big test to see if you were actually secure in your masculinity. The boys with naturally high levels of testosterone and also fantastic fathers did not fail that test. They were tested for their masculinity. Their masculinity was attempted to be throttled by those modern influences. The feminine teacher told that little boy with the high testosterone to sit down quietly, to behave like a girl. What did he do? He laughed in her face. He passed that shit test. But for the majority of us, bro, we failed heavily. And so we've been conditioned, we've been brainwashed to end up into young adulthood as feminine, weak, docile men. Do you know what I believe is the number one masculine virtue? Discipline. Without discipline, we are nothing. Discipline is the skill of doing the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. And that is a skill that is so scarce these days. I look around and I only see weak men who are at the whims of their emotions. You probably see this and you probably see it in yourself. You only do what your emotions tell you. I don't feel like going to the gym, so you don't go to the gym. I feel like eating fast food, so you eat fast food. Some porn would be nice, so you watch porn. And you see this with every guy around. Like, it's a weird experience for me to meet a man who I respect. And I often don't, like, maybe 5 guys my age, maybe. The men who I respect always end up being about 35 to 40. Because men my age are no men at all. Grown-up boys. So feminine, so weak, so in touch with their emotions. And you've been fed that lie. You've been fed that lie. And now all the modern day, like, weak people are going to call me a misogynist because I'm saying this. If you've watched some of my videos, you know that I'm not like a stereotypical alpha male who says, like, men don't cry, bro. I've cried on camera many, many times. I've talked about some deep, traumatic shit on camera to tens of thousands of people who watch me. But being more in touch with your feminine side is generally a weakness. Being able to cultivate the feminine virtues, to have the ability to use some feminine energy for your own good is fantastic. That's what I do in this business. That is what I do in this movement. You see me come onto camera, and the reason why I can help so many young men, like I've saved hundreds of young men's lives. You know, I used to like not state these facts. I used to try to be a lot more like humble because it's like the good positive trait. I'm realizing, bro, fuck being humble. I have saved hundreds of young men's lives. I have helped thousands, maybe tens of thousands of young men improve themselves because of the man I have become today. Now, I'm able to use the feminine energy that I naturally have inside of me, but I will not grow that artificially because the society around me tells me that I should be in touch with my emotions and that I should cry in front of everyone. Just YOLO, have a good time. Make sure you, like, prioritize self-care. Like, bro, I say to prioritize mental health every single time, but this soft, weak men kind of movement that I'm seeing, it's just going to leave you feeling nihilistic. It's going to leave you feeling lonely. Because either, if you're one of these weak men, right, this is what's going to happen in terms of one of the most important parts of life is your romantic relationships if you're straight. Even if you're obviously gay and stuff, but like, specifically if you're straight. If you are a weak, submissive, feminine man, you will only attract dominating, masculine women, and your relationships with them will be entirely toxic. And so you'll be lonely. Or you're still a weak feminine man, and guess what? You're just unattractive. Because there's still a fair amount of women, like a lot of women, who crave masculine leadership, who crave masculine, strong, powerful, dominating men. You failed for society's shit test. And I don't blame you, because it started when you were fucking 5 years old, so you were like fighting uphill. But from 5 years old, when you joined the education system and your feminine teacher, your female teacher, who's probably... I could insult her all fucking day. I fucking hate teachers in the education system, but you were conditioned to be more feminine. You heard those tests. They said to you, sit still, don't be adventurous, don't be boisterous, don't be masculine. And you listened. We can't go back in time now. What we can do is vow to become strong today and make that like a new intention that we go forward in. Set it as a goal, like a mission, a chapter of yours, to cultivate more masculine energy. This might seem like weird if you're somewhat new to this space of like alpha male YouTube. Like I don't consider myself one of those like alpha male YouTubers. But if this is somewhat new to you, of this, like, you know, this talk about masculinity, this will probably seem really weird and toxic and misogynist. Surely there's got to be something wrong with him. Surely he is an est, like sexist, racist, misogynist, whatever the fuck these labels that they attach to people who just speak up against modern days. You know why I speak up? You know why I say things which I seem quite controversial in the modern day? Because men aren't happy. Men are fed up. No man is happy and fulfilled and feels free being weak. All of these these motherfuckers online, you know, this movement of like, it's okay to be weak, bro. They feel like shit. They literally despise their lives. And worst of all, you know, okay, fine. If you don't like your life, fine. But worst of all, these people who don't like their lives, who feel no level of fulfillment, will look at you and say, it's okay to be weak. Be just like me. And that's happening on such a macro level that you wouldn't even realize how much of like society, how much of like your brain's thoughts, attitudes, beliefs, deeply ingrained truths inside of your brain has been conditioned by this world around you. And it saddens me. My generation of men are so weak, so timid, so fragile, so like docile. Because they've fallen victim to the three biggest enemies that young men have: social media, porn, and video games. Social media, porn, and video games. I'd say 99% of young men have at least one addiction to these. And maybe 70% of young men have addictions to all three: social media, porn, and video games. Ask yourself right now, with some sense of humility and honesty, which one is it for you? And don't fucking lie to yourself. Which one is it for you? Which is your vice? Which is the one that you make excuses about and you say, oh, it's not that bad. Oh, I'll quit one day. Oh, you know, but I really find happiness from it. Shut the fuck up. Which one is it for you? These three things will keep you weak. Social media will keep you depressed, anxious, nihilistic, feeling so unhappy and inferior and insecure of yourself. Because you see motherfuckers like me posting my physique, and I'm bigger than you, I'm more muscular, oh yeah, whatever, but I am. And you could be happy for me. You could think, oh yeah, like, you know, I like Hamza, oh look, Hamza looks really big, but your brain knows. Your brain will always be turned on to the realisms of the social hierarchy. You will see someone who's better than you every split second on Instagram, and your brain will literally produce like chemicals and hormones and thoughts and feelings that belittle you. That's not supposed to happen. 50 years ago, 100, 500, 5,000 years ago, you were only supposed to see the people in your tribe of 150 people. And so your place in the tribe was fine, it was acceptable, and of course, you know, you'd want to level up, you'd want to be productive and strong and start being disciplined and start like getting higher and higher in the social hierarchy. But now you can open up your phone and see a new man every split second who's better than you, and your brain gets fucked when it sees this. And this isn't to mention how social media is just softcore porn these days. Have you been on TikTok? Have you even been on Instagram and you click on the explore page and it's literally just like half naked people, girls just posting ass, titties? It fucks with your brain, it fucks with your motivation. And that leads into the second point, which is porn. The second big enemy for young men. Social media and porn are really not that different. I'd say most social medias for most young men, because of the way like the algorithm works and everything, it's pretty much softcore porn, if not even just fucking full force porn. There's a really good analogy I like, which is imagining a male animal, a cat, a dog, a bull, and imagine it in its like natural habitat when it's just, it's born, it's quite young, and it hasn't been castrated, and it's male. It's territorial, it's aggressive, it's adventurous. And then it's such a normal practice to castrate your pets, to essentially like chop, I think it's the dick and balls of like a male cat or dog. Horses, I believe sometimes will get castrated. Bulls are like male cows when they get castrated. What happens? What happens when the manhood is removed from a male? It turns weak, docile, and submissive. It's easier to control. What's interesting now, and what's very, very fucking sad, but also inspiring and hope-inducing, is that my generation of men are castrating themselves. My generation of men are willingly, essentially chopping their dick and balls off with very, very frequent, how do you say that word? Frequent masturbation. Now, I'm not one of these like hardcore semen retention. Like, I think it's good for you. I 100% think it's good for you. I'm not one of these like dumbasses who make like, 90-day no-fap challenge benefits. You should be on no-fap. You should be on semen retention sometimes. And you shouldn't watch porn. But we can't deny of the lethargy, the weakness, and the sort of laziness that comes about when you bust a nut. You can't deny it. And a lot of guys are doing that 3 times a day. More. Think once more of that animal that gets castrated and it's just submissive, weak, docile, controllable. And then just see the hordes of men, young men, willingly just jacking off multiple times a day. And they're experiencing the same consequences. Weak, docile, submissive, easy to control. Porn especially makes you so like weak. Even on like a normal, let's not even talk about anything deep about, like weakness and submissiveness and, being able to control. Just specifically, bro, when I walk to the gym and I see the guys around me and, it's not true disrespect to them because maybe they're nice guys or something, and I'm out in public and I see guys my age, maybe younger, maybe older, maybe men. I can literally just look around and like, I know it's kind of a weird thought, but I can literally just look at pretty much every single guy and just think, he's a wanker. He's jacked off this morning. No wonder he moves. He penetrates through the world with like such a limp dick. Does that make sense? It's almost like a weird analogy, but it's like, you can see how weak they are in the world. You can see their presence is so fucking timid. You have inside of you like this powerful drive to conquer, to dominate. That comes from your sexual energy. That comes from your lust. We do things because we have the desire to reproduce. This is like grade 7 science. Is it science? Yeah, reproduction facts. We have the desire to reproduce. We want to fuck. We want to impregnate women. That is literally the number one desire that man has. Why would you willingly give that away? Because you know what happens with that desire? Either, if there's women around you, either you'll fuck them. Fantastic. You're fulfilling your sexual strategy and your ancestors are proud. You're going to pass on your seed. Wow, what nice. But for the majority of young men, okay, we don't have that woman around. We're not just actively having sex. So that same desire, if it's allowed to be like cultivated, the desire of reproduction to impregnate a woman. If we don't have a woman right now to impregnate, to have sex with, that desire turns into motivation. It turns into discipline. It turns into like a burning desire to then level ourselves up in the ways that we know would work to actually get us more women to then have sex and impregnate. And most men give up that desire. Most men give up that motivation, which is so, so important. And they just spill it looking at fucking porno, or pretty much social media, TikTok, Instagram girls. Video games keep men weak. And this is one of the most controversial things I say, because all the fucking Jeffreys, all the weak, timid men who think that they're strong, come in and then say, no, but I play video games and Hamza, I actually make 17 million a year and I work for 36 hours a day. And so 1 hour of, shut the fuck up. 1 hour of video games is acceptable. Shut up. You really want to play video games, bro? Play once a month. There's a new game you want to play. Play once a month, no holding back, play like 6 hours. Yeah, fine. Do you know what I mean? It's the same as like, oh, like, you really like to party. Well, yeah, go like once a month. Oh, you really like to weed. Yeah, do it like once a month. Okay, fine. No one can really criticize you if it's like that infrequent. But these motherfuckers literally have it as like a habit. They have it as a habit. And when I say that video games make men weak, they literally try to like crucify me and say like, no, maybe it did for you, but I'm okay. Shut the fuck up. You can't like make this kind of anecdotal experience of like, oh, but I'm fine on it, when it's inherently an addictive substance. It literally works exactly like drugs do. If you research, like, just watch one educational video on how drugs impact your body, addictive substances, your tolerance for them literally goes up, as with video games. Remember when we were younger and like literally 30 minutes, 60 minutes of video games was absolutely fine. It's all we needed. Like our parents only let us play for like 1 hour and you were like totally satisfied with that. And now you can literally, like, it's a normal thing to play for more than 3 hours a night. It's a very normal, like 3 hours is still like quite a small gaming session for the majority of young men who actively are gamers. And you have to take a step back and, practically seeing a waste of time, practically seeing 3 hours go to video games. In my opinion, like, time should be, time is what you use to get shit done. If you're in your 20s, your teenage years, time is literally just all you need. Put in the right time into the right things and you will develop into the man that you've wanted, and all of the things that you've wanted in life, like companionship, a woman to love, wealth, status, like finances, everything, brotherhood, comes when you just use your time wisely. And these motherfuckers will spend 3 hours a day playing video games, and then they'll come into comments and say, well, I only play for 1 hour. Shut the fuck up. No gamer plays for 1 hour a day. But when you look on a deeper level of what video games does to men and how it makes them weak, because the time issue is one. But when you, it's like the psychological I don't even have the right terms for it, bro. Like the psychological fuckage of what happens when you invest into a video game that gives you an artificial version of the real thing that you wanted. Why do people play Call of Duty? Why do young men really play? Why do young men care so much about prestiging in a game? It's not like we were born, animals, cavemen, with this thing of like, oh, I need to prestige in Call of Duty. Obviously not. But we were born with something in our brains and our bodies saying like, yes, I want to level up in the social hierarchy. I want to gain status. I want to gain brotherhood with strong men who I respect. I want to make progress to goals. The masculine energy, if you've never heard this before, you've never been taught this, the masculine energy inside of us is all about craving the progress to goals. It's all about progress. That single word would fucking transform your life if you let it. Progress is the key to the life of men. Masculine energy craves progress, and the more you feed it, the more you focus on making progress to goals, the more masculine you become. And video games manipulate the fuck out of you by allowing you to make progress in the video game, by being able to level up and get to fucking 99 cooking on RuneScape. It took me 100 hours to get to 99 cooking on RuneScape. What was the point? What was the point of me cooking 20,000 trout? I was broke. 20,000 trout to get 90, this achievement on this video game. Teenage me craved progress, as masculine people do. But when video games are around and progress in video games saves you from the discomfort of progress in real life, well, Which one are you going to choose? Because making progress in real life, bro, it requires discipline. It hurts. Being a man is literally all about just experiencing discomfort for the sake of progress. I will say that again. I really think you should listen to that sentence carefully. Being a man is literally all about experiencing discomfort for the sake of progress. If you understand that sentence, you'll do very well in life. These three things put together, social media, porn, and video games, make men weak. You can leave here thinking that this is just a basic video. It's like, oh yeah, you know, like, quit video games, motivation number 7. And like, oh, you know, semen retention video, you know. And in a sense, these are somewhat basic topics, what we're talking about. But when you look through history, and when you can not foresee, but almost guess, look into the future, it gets scary. You and I have lived in the most peaceful time, maybe the most peaceful time of humanity. Especially if you live in, like, I live in the UK, so there's been no war here for as long as I've been born. There's been no chaos. Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. Weak men create hard times. I'm not sure exactly which part of that we're currently in, but I do know for a fact that hard times are coming. When hard times come, you're going to wish that you are a strong man. You're going to wish that you are disciplined. You're going to wish that you are stoic. You're going to wish that you are financially well set, that you have good mental health. More than that, you're going to wish your brothers next to you have the exact same things. When hard times arise, you don't want the person next to you to be weak. That is why I make these videos. That is why I've become like a leader of young men. I've started a cult. I have literally started a cult of young men who aim to become stronger and more masculine. This is not a normal YouTube channel. This is not a normal YouTube video. If it was, I'd be like these cringy motherfuckers, like 2 seconds into the video. Make sure you smash that like button and click the... Shut the fuck up. I don't care about likes. I don't care about subscribers. Of course, I care about the growth of this movement and the growth of my business. What I care about is seeing men rise up. I rose up 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I rose my slunken head, tired of looking at porn, tired of smoking weed every day, tired of eating shitty fast food that's like made by these companies who don't give a fuck about your health. Tired of having a physique and even my face that I wasn't happy with, I wasn't proud of. Tired of being mentally and physically weak. Feeling lethargic, like I have no energy, no motivation, symptoms of low testosterone. I was tired, and so I rose up. I got onto self-improvement. I started doing those good habits that you've always heard of, but we often overlook. Consistently exercising, meditating, journaling, spending time in nature, sleeping well. It became my purpose to teach the same lessons that I've learned by myself for the last 2 years. If you've stayed hooked just listening to me for the last 23 minutes, this is something that interests you like heavily. This is something that you can resonate with. So you've got 2 choices. You be a Jeffrey. Go continue your life as a Jeffrey. This was just another YouTube video. Click on the next one. Go click on the next fucking morning motivational. David Goggins motivation speech will change your life. Go click on one of them. If you're a Jeffrey, if you're fine with living life like you are, but you're not. The second choice is to get onto the path to become an Adonis. The ultimate man, the man who actually fucking respects himself. The cult leader. You level up life holistically in all areas. This isn't some like cringe alpha male, sigma male grind set where I just say, yeah, make money and fuck bitches. The most important thing that you can level up is your mental health. The most. As soon as you prioritize your mental health, as soon as you make some good progress, it takes 2 weeks to improve your mental health. Don't listen to all these fucking, like, don't listen to the modern day of this bullshit. Everyone's got depression, everyone's anxiety. Like, yeah, everyone does have depression, everyone does have anxiety. It takes 2 weeks to ease most of the symptoms. Even if you've been living with that shit for fucking years, it takes 2 weeks of doing the right things, but everyone has this arrogant attitude that they're different. 2 weeks of spending time in nature, hugging your family and telling them that you love them, telling your family that you're grateful for them, journaling about things. 2 weeks of meditation, daily exercise, sunlight, good sleep, water, good nutrition. 2 weeks, and more than half of all your negative symptoms of life, more than half of your negative thoughts that ruin your fucking day will be eliminated. 2 weeks of doing the right things. It takes 2 weeks, and people live, like young men live down bad lives for years because they either refuse or don't even know about the right things to do. Can you see now why I'm so fucking passionate about my work? It takes 2 weeks to transform your life, and that will get you onto such a good momentum, like snowball effect, to keep going forward and just keep seeing even compounding results. The second option, if you don't want to be a Jeffrey for the rest of your life, is to join our cult. Join our cult. Follow the daily practices, follow the advice, transform your life. You will never look back. And when you see that first bit of progress a couple of weeks from now, you start seeing a change in your body, and especially in your mental health, and you're just happier. Finally, you don't have those bullshit thoughts in your mind. Finally, you're not jacking off 3 times a day. You'll look around and you'll wonder why everyone else isn't doing this. You will look around and think to yourself, my generation of men are weak. Click on this video right now to learn more about my cults. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. Mwah.